March 12th, 2010. From the stylish and high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in historic Warwick, Rhode Island, this is News Undies. For March 12th, 2010, this is News Undies, all the news that shouldn't be news. This past Wednesday marks the first anniversary of the first video News Undies. A lot has changed since then, and yet so much has stayed the same. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Tiny Turkish Temblor reveals crummy construction, but not like in Haiti. Scientists worry hypoxic ocean patches may let humanity coast to the finish line. Canada decides to skip gender-neutralizing its anthem. Sony to add 3D to the list of new TV features which do nothing to improve content. Dancing with the Stars. Hey gang, it's time for celebrity birthdays once again. I got my cake hat on, let's rock! For Saturday the 6th, David Gilmour and Rob Reiner. For Sunday the 7th, Willard Scott and Rick Mail. Woof woof! For Monday the 8th, Mickey Dolenz and Freddie Prinze Jr. For Tuesday the 9th, Yuri Gagarin, dead, and Bobby Fischer, dead! For Wednesday the 10th, Chuck Norris and Tom Schultz. Oh, and News Undies. For Thursday the 11th, Douglas Adams, dead, and Rob Paulson, noff! For Friday the 12th, Wally Schirra, dead, and Barbara Feldon. That's Celebrity Birthdays. I'm Paul Torville, and I'm done! We'll have stories in detail after this.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. No, yeah. No! Yeah.
Christopher Glachek writes on Politico.com about the dangerous allure of third parties, calling the so-called Tea Party movement a grassroots phenomenon. I refer Mr. Glachek to the New Hacker's Dictionary for the definition of astroturf. The article points out that a third party, or fourth, tends to sap political strength from their ideologically nearest mainstream cousin. What it fails to mention is that large monolithic parties tend to have a homogenizing effect, stifling the voices of those with radical opinions, whether those radical opinions are correct or not. The teabaggers, as lunatic and malleable as they appear to be, do serve to put the Republican Party on notice that Rupert Murdoch, Roger Ailes, Fox News, a few noisy but easily led sheep with torches and pitchforks, no, that's not it, sorry, the people want it to return to its conservative roots, which never existed. A task force of reform rabbis. Really? Task force? What are we talking about here? The green yarmulkes? Blacked out faces and camo bags for their Torah scrolls? Sorry, I got a little carried away. So yeah, a task force of reform rabbis is considering encouraging mixed faith marriages and making up new blessings for weddings and funerals to accommodate such situations. Doesn't it seem like at some point they're just going to have to come out and admit it, that it's all just 100% made up? The Oscars. Andrew Lloyd Webber's new stage musical is a sequel to The Phantom of the Opera. Wow, that's unnecessary. The reviews have been quite unflattering. Toyota has been struggling for months now with its sudden acceleration issues, and the U.S. media has been fairly relentless in portraying Toyota in a bad light. Is it justified? Here are Pig and Sheep with their thoughts. Of course it is. Toyota has spent years mocking the quality of American-made cars, and now Japan can't make a decent car. Ha! The glove is on the other ear now. Wow, he is dumb. Look, if you notice, the vast majority of the Toyota models recalled were cars assembled in the USA, and the faulty parts came from a U.S. supplier. This is not to say that Toyota's Japanese headquarters is totally blameless, but let's look at the real facts. The Toyotas assembled and sold in the USA just might be a little more American than the Fords, GMs, and Chryslers assembled in Mexico and Canada. That's what Pig and Sheep think. What are your thoughts? Email them to ovcomments@newsundies.com. And now, here's Moose Weintraub with the Sports Half Minute.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute. It's a whole half minute of sports. 30 seconds of sports. Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Welcome to the Sports Half Minute. The World Adult Kickball Association's 2009 champions, the Others from Washington, D.C.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Thanks, Moose. Always a great report from Moose. Remember back in 1992 when Bruce Springsteen released the single 57 Channels and Nothing On? 57. Ah! Now your typical TV provider offers hundreds of channels, digital channels, many in high definition, and you just spend all that money on that fancy widescreen thing with the LEDs and the LCDs and who knows what all else. Well, now Sony has a 3D TV coming out in June to make all that obsolete. No word yet on what Sony proposes to do about the dearth of content worth watching in digital high-definition 3-dimension 7.1 THX surround sound on a 200-inch screen. But that's nothing new. We'll have your exclusive past gas weather and the final news roundup right after this. You'll notice that when you watch NewsUndies, I'm always wearing a shirt from the Ursus Pacificus Kitsch Cave. Well, now you can too. You can help support NewsUndies by going to the Ursus Pacificus Kitsch Cave and getting some kitsch. And now, here's your exclusive past cast weather for the week ending Friday, March 12th, 2010. The upper Midwest saw snow and cold. Who would have guessed? The Heartland saw snow showers and cold. In Texas and Oklahoma, it was sunny and cold. And that's your exclusive past cast weather. Lindsay Lohan. Lohan? A Florida Highway Patrol trooper who 10 years ago had stopped a man with multiple syringes sticking out of his arm and thought nothing would top that, has been proven wrong. Megan Mariah Barnes was on her way to Key West to meet her boyfriend when her car was involved in a two-vehicle collision. Not too weird. Her ex-husband was steering from the passenger seat. That's a little strange. Why was he steering? Because. Because why? Well, because Megan Mariah Barnes was shaving. What was she shaving? She was shaving her bikini area. That's pretty wacky. But wait. The day before, Barnes had been convicted of DUI with a prior and driving with a suspended license. Her sentence included a 5-year revocation of her driver license, impoundment of her car, and 9 months probation. Barnes could see a year in prison for the probation violation, to say nothing of the penalties for the other charges if she's convicted. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Fox News analyst, never gets old, Sarah Palin has admitted that in her youth, her family would travel from Alaska into Canada for single-payer health care. Oh, Canada, with its rationed health care and its death panels and its bureaucratic red tape. Was a better deal in her parents' view than trucking over to Juneau. She calls it irony. Sure, that's what it is. Well, that's all for this first anniversary edition of NewsUndies. If you enjoyed this show, please share it with your friends and family. You can comment about and rate this video on youtube.com/newsundies. While you're there, why not subscribe? You can sign up for email notification of new NewsUndies videos by emailing nulist@newsundies.com and putting subscribe in the subject. If you see news that shouldn't be news, send your story tips to undies@newsundies.com. Remember, News Undies is a weekly show, and we'll be back on Friday, March 19th with fresh News Undies. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be in 3D where available.